Hey, Amy, how are you?
Hi, I'm okay. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I just got caught up in my day.
Yeah.
I'm here. I just had a snack. I look like shit.
I listen. I was on my way to band practice, so I feel you. Um,
Mm.
but anyway, listen. Welcome to Red River Podcast. This is pretty amazing. Like when we started doing this show, these are the moments that really kind of are feel surreal. So welcome, Amy Steele. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Mm. Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Dan Turr for Minked Up Merch for
Oh,
definitely.
Dan. He takes care of me, so I got to help take care of him.
Absolutely. We know that it's like, a couple of things are happening. The 40-year anniversary of Friday the 13th happened in May, and I think you're doing some conventions again, right?
Yeah. So this fall I will have done, well, since August, like five of them. And so I have Vegas coming up next weekend, and then Chicago. I think like the 8th or I don't know the exact date, but then I have Chicago. So and those I think those are both oh God, what's Bill Philpott's shows? Days of the Dead.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that has to be fun. I mean, it's for us, me growing up, and I'm sure Brian too up there.
Hmm.
Friday the 13th too, um, uh, April Fool's Day, uh,
Yeah.
as well as Walk Like a Man. I used to
Yeah.
watch Walk Like a Man every day after school. It was just like the best thing ever. And so those are the three
Oh.
things that I really wanted to just talk about real quick. I mean, we don't have that much time
Hmm.
with you, so hey, there goes the other Brian.
Hey.
So yeah, just real quick. I mean,
This
when
is Dolly.
when you hey how are you when you look back at 40 years since you made
Hmm.
Friday the 13th too, like what has Friday the 13th meant to you now?
Oh my God. um it's funny. It's like it still keeps seeping into me.
Yeah.
Like I can't say, oh, I finally realized what it is. Like every, like even just doing this right now, here I am, I'm going about my day. I was setting up a printer. I had today off from work. So I'm like running around doing stuff. And then all of a sudden to drop into this, first of all, space out, but to drop into this here, I'm like, it's just surreal. I mean, it is really, really surreal. I mean, nobody knew that this was going to happen. Nobody knew, including me,
And
that.
I was gonna say, and did you ever see the first movie when you made the second movie? Was there any? Because I know like that was like the very beginning of like the slasher movie. So like that was like
Mhm.
probably you shot it in like 80. So Halloween had already been out. Did any of these movies have an impact on you?
Well, no, I'm not a horror person. As I was just telling at a Q&A this weekend that I just was ruined by The Exorcist. I just, when I was like 15, I was just ruined by that. And so I'm not a huge horror fan. I'm just a chicken. Like I have a hard time watching even just straight up drama sometimes. Like I'm just a wimp. But uh so let's see, Halloween had come out, and then I had never seen the first one because I think I just saw the first one in Portland like last year with Adrian. I didn't remember ever seeing the first one, but I think some movies are so big, it's almost like you think you saw them even though you didn't. They're just so big. Like Friday the 13th Part One was so big that summer that it's just like on the tip of everybody's tongue. So I don't think I saw it. And when they said they were going to do a part two, I was like, oh no, I'm going to do John Hughes movies. I'm going to be this other person. But all of a sudden it just happened. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. So
Did you have a
I don't,
John Hughes movie lined up?
no,
Okay. I wasn't
you,
sure.
you like at that time as a young actor, you wanted to do John Hughes or Spielberg.
Yes.
I mean, those are the ones that you really thought, oh yeah, I'm going to do that in theater. Um, but honestly, the Friday movies, I mean, I think they have like Adrian tells a great story about Betsy Palmer, who did all these like real things and real theater and real film. But the thing that stayed with her the longest and the most dedicated fans and the thing that she's remembered so much is from Friday the 13th.
Sure.
So by the time she died, Adrian just told this great story about all this, but by the time she died, she really took it in like, oh my God, that was a big movie. Like she made Mrs. Voorhees. You know, I mean, she just embodied that. And so we kind of, when she sets the bar that high, we can just kind of follow, even if the bar goes down a little bit, we still look good, you know, in the sweater, so to speak.
I mean, look at the guy up there. I mean, look at all the collectibles Brian is sitting next to.
I know. I mean, so passionate for you people.
I actually met her at a convention probably about 10 years ago, and she was one of the nicest people I ever met at a convention. I mean, pretty much like what your grandmother's like. That's the nicest thing I could say. Like she was wearing her sweater and she had a nice warm cup of coffee, and she was so nice. Yeah.
And she had such an ability to connect to everybody. So I mean, I just thought about this now. I haven't really even put this together, but I wonder if she sort of like set the tone, you know, for the Final Girls or for the franchise in a way. And I know I haven't even seen all the movies, but everyone says that after 4, they kind of went into another land. Now, I don't want to trash anybody else's favorite Friday the 13th, but it seems like
the first 4 are very cohesive.
Yeah.
Completely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and then,
it starts to go off the rails later.
Exactly. So you guys know it better than I, but I think that it was like set by this really cool tone by Betsy Palmer. I mean, she's kind of infused this whole gig.
And you were, I mean, as far as like Mount Rushmore of Final Girls, you're definitely on there because you're the first person to actually fight Jason. You know, you were the first person to actually fight Jason because the first movie had a great plot twist. I mean, Betsy was part of an amazing plot twist with the first Friday the 13th. It's up there with the plot twist in Sleepaway Camp, which we all know. But you were the first person to definitely do battle with Jason.
Yeah. Well, and not just with brawn, but with brain.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you caught that.
It was a great character because you showed fear, obviously, but you were very resourceful and as far as escaping and hiding and the weapons. But the last 10 minutes of that film is some of my favorite moments of the series, and especially that window scene, which was so famous. I mean, you look genuinely terrified.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it was so terrifying to shoot that. We had to shoot it 3 times. And how I like to always say is that if I told you right now that in 10 seconds, somebody was going to walk up behind you and grab you, even if I told you that, your nervous system goes on alert. And so I had to kind of hold the pitchfork, get ready, and then the door opens and Muffin's there, and I had to look all relieved, but knowing that the high-speed camera, all of a sudden they said action for the high-speed camera, and the high-speed camera sounds like this, like a motorboat, like, and I'm going, Muffin, and I know that he's crashing through the window and he's in this whole harness setup and the glass is, fake glass or whatever, but still it kind of breaks, and then the balsa wood and everything. And to set that whole scene up took hours. And so as an actor, I don't want to fuck it up. That's for sure. I don't want to be my fault, but he comes crashing through and it's a true crash. And then he grabs me, and then it's like, ugh. So the first time we shot it, I, scared to death. And then all of a sudden I found out 2 weeks later, they had to shoot it again. So it's like not fun. And then I found out we had to shoot it again. And it was truly traumatizing. I mean, I'm okay. I don't have PTSD from it, but
Yeah.
but you know, it was scary. Really scary.
Was that the hardest part of filming, that, or is there something more that you remember, you know, through the filming of that movie that it was a little bit more effective?
No, I think that was the hardest because I had to be so contained. You know, I had to hit my marks, even though um, I'm scared to death, and had to be like relieved, and then like scared, scared, tough, relieved, and then scared to death. Which, and like I said, it wasn't like a huge. It's not like really that whole acting part. It was just anticipating what's about to happen, trying to hit my marks, trying to be scared, which was easy. So it was the whole setup made it hard. The rest I just had to run around and like kick Steve Dash.
And you made such a funny about Steve Dash. Let me just throw this in right now. I live in West Babylon, Long Island, and there's a diner called the Infinity Diner. And when we first moved here, they have pictures hanging up by the entrance, and one of them is of Steve Dash with the
really?
sack. With the, I'm just thinking, like, I'm like, this is so cool. Like, why did it? Like, it was such a random thing. And funny enough, as far as the sack goes, the next movie had the hockey mask. Did you have any thoughts about that? Like when you were like, you did, right?
No, the sack everyone says is much creepier, and I think it is too. Like for me, I look at the hockey mask, I'm like, what's with that mask? Oh, it's cheap. You just put it on and you can see out both eyes. But it was hard to run around, as Steve Dash said, with one hole.
Yeah.
That it's really, really, really hard. And I probably wasn't the greatest. He told a great story about trying to work with actresses as opposed to stunt people, and actresses just have the worst timing on stunts, and I was one of them.
I always remember that scene in like Django, like the Tarantino movie, where like they're putting on the hood and they can't see out of it. So I was thinking,
yeah, he is hard.
But I've heard so many different things too. Did they was there talks of you coming back in part 3, or you didn't want to do it, or your agent didn't? I've heard so many different stories.
Yeah. So about 5 years ago, my mother in her was cleaning her attic and found the half of part 3 that was proposed to me. And I read it and I was like, damn, this is so good. How could I have said no to this? Probably there's a part of me that's like John Hughes, Spielberg. And then the other part, I have a feeling that that my agent said, okay, why don't you pay her a decent amount of money? And they said, nah, we're just doing scale plus 10 again or something. So we probably said no. And they said, okay, thinking that they'd come back and go, no, let's do it. But they didn't. And I think it just became this revolving thing where they could just get actors really cheap, hot off the bus, and, have a white one, a black one, a blonde one, check the boxes. So in hindsight, oh my God, I wish I had done part 3. I really wish, but
because they got rid of like Adrian died like in the very beginning of Friday the 13th too. That was such an effective. I mean,
yeah. Do not tell her that because it's a dream.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of Spielberg, later on, you work with Tom Wilson and Christopher Lloyd is in Walk Like a Man. So that's pretty interesting. And I really love the movie April Fool's Day, and I really want to get your perspective because it's amazing to have you and you're in this movie. Because to me, I feel like if it came out maybe like in the 90s, it would have been received better. I just feel like the audiences in the 80s were so blood hungry that when they realized the ending, right, that they were just like, what the hell? But even me as a kid, I felt like when I watched it, I felt like when I didn't really understand it because I was 8 years old. But like, first of all, when you got the script, how cool did you think it was? And then later on, like, I guess maybe some of the backlash, if you could talk about that.
Well, that's another one of the movies that has like kind of haunted me in a good way. in the beginning in the 80s, it's almost like no one wanted to admit. It was like this sort of underground people who really liked April Fool's Day. Nobody wanted to admit it. And then I remember at the conventions, people would say, oh, by the way, and I actually like April Fool's Day. And I go, it's okay. You can like it. It's a good, smart movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so now more and more people are coming up all the time and saying, I loved that movie. I love that movie. So I'm really proud of it. And also I was really happy about that movie because, you know, as an actor, sometimes it's really nice to have a whole ensemble cast. So you don't have to you're not in every scene.
Oh, great cast.
It's a great cast.
Great.
Yeah.
We love Just One of the Guys, and it had Deborah Goodrich and Clayton Rohrer. We want to get him on the show so bad. Yeah. So wherever he is,
he's great. He's funny. He's quippy. He's like self-deprecating and snarky.
Does he do any of the conventions? I don't think he does, right?
I don't think so. I feel like maybe he did one way back, but I haven't seen him lately.
I asked this, speaking of conventions, I asked this question to Keith Coogan. At any of these conventions, you ever get to meet anyone you get starstruck about, or like got to meet and, you know, encounter a celebrity you never got to before?
Yeah. You know who at one convention, Tippi Hedren. For me, I was like, wow, Tippi Hedren. Okay. And I like saw her from behind and I was like, oh my God. So, I got an autograph by her. Nice. But let's see, is there anyone else really? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. It's a good question though.
What I mean, so if horror wasn't your thing, like what were some of the movies that you were really into that really like influenced you to want to like act?
Well, Jessica Lange. When she first started, you know, she was in all those really cool movies. My God. She did a Frances Farmer movie on Frances Farmer that, do you guys know that at all? No. Who she was? Okay. Well, Jessica Lange, she was really inspirational. And then, you know, if I went way back, Katharine Hepburn, she did some great movies. But I don't know, like
Jessica Lange's still killing it. Like she like, I mean, like the American Horror Story stuff that she does, like she looks amazing and she's so good.
So good. I mean, she just embraces these like sort of off the wall characters. I just love her. And, you know, a lot of people would say when I was auditioning, oh, you remind me of Sissy Spacek. And I didn't want to be Sissy Spacek. I know she did Carrie and she was good in what she did, but that wasn't my person. Jessica Lange was more my person.
For sure. Yeah. And just like briefly, if we could just touch on like, what do you remember about Walk Like a Man? Like it's such a silly movie. But I know me and Parker up there love it. And it was one of those movies that just like, I mean, Howie Mandel was so good at it. I remember just like sitting on people's heads when I was younger. There was so many mannerisms that Bobo had that as a kid I loved. So
that movie was hands down the most fun I have ever had on a set. I laughed so hard from the second I arrived till the second I left that day. My face hurt from laughing so hard. I had to constantly clean up makeup because of tears of laughing. It was like being on a set with the most mischievous class clown for 2 months, like day in, day out. Howie and I, all we did was like goof, whether it be on Cloris Leachman or Christopher Lloyd or whatever. I mean, it wasn't mean or anything, but it was just, I can't even describe. It was just hilarious from the start to the finish.
As far as the scenes go, like I feel like a lot of it, like how much of it was scripted? I feel like he was probably not very scripted because he was just doing some really wacky stuff, you know, like licking the bowl and all that other stuff. I feel like he was just going for it.
Yeah, he just I mean, and that role, it was so goofy. You'd have to just go for it and make it your own. Otherwise, you're going to look really idiotic. And only Howie could have pulled that off. You know, he was great. I'm sure he made it up.
Really, to go back to April Fool's Day real quick. Did you ever go to a screening of it, like when it first came out? And did the audiences like really get that ending, or when you were there? Or
I'm trying to remember if I might have gone to a cast and crew screening. And I remember it being really fun and enjoying, but I just wasn't a huge, wasn't very knowledgeable of the genre. I do remember going to the screening in New York on East 86. There was a big theater there for Friday the 13th Part 2. And I went there with like big audiences, and I could not believe what was happening. Like, they're screaming, "Don't go in there. Don't go in there. Don't be an idiot. No, don't go in that shed. Whoa, she's putting on the sweater." Ah! I mean, looking around like this.
They still do that.
Yeah. Well, it was amazing. I could not believe how much it was like an experiential experience for people, movie going.
Especially horror is such a communal experience. One thing we've missed during the pandemic, I can't wait to get back to, but
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's like, when you're in that theater, it you know what? Sometimes in the theater it gets annoying, but like when you really catch that perfect movie where everyone gives a shit and everyone's watching it and like everyone laughs at the same time, whether it's like a Naked Gun movie or they get scared watching like whatever horror movie and stuff. Like we'll be watching Halloween and stuff. Now just
like Rocky Horror, I guess.
Yeah, like exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I love the theater. No matter what, not because of COVID, not going to the theater for a while sucked. But as soon as I went back, I went to go see Nobody with Odenkirk, and it's great. I love it. I don't care. I'll spend between me and my girlfriend, we spent like $50. I'm like, holy shit, this popcorn's like $13.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
The butter must be expensive.
I know.
But in closing, I mean, I just wanted to ask you, I don't know if anyone else had anything else, but like Crystal Lake Memories, like how much fun was that to do?
The book, you mean?
No, the documentary, like the long one.
It was kind of cool to just, I don't know, like even just talking about it right now, it always brings up more. It's kind of exciting. And so just doing those things, I remember it was really nice, and went to this place and they asked great questions, and it was kind of the beginning of showing up for this and answering questions and kind of, I don't know, responding to all the interest. And that was kind of the beginning of it. I don't think I had done a convention before then.
Yeah, because the love for the franchise has been like just there always. It's just amazing. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like every year a 13-year-old gets put on to like Friday. Some older brother's like, all right, cool, we're gonna watch Friday. And to me, Friday the 13th 2 is one of the better sequels, because I think I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that there was no Jason in the first one. So I would always skip that one and I would watch the Jason one, because like part 2. And the one thing that always stuck in my head, which always creeped me out, was that black thumbnail when he was holding the knife, right? Yeah. I'm like, how the hell did he get that?
Yeah, for sure. And what's kind of cool is that most of the actors, I can't speak for all of them, but most of what I've heard is that none of us knew about any of this until Peter Bracke got that book together and basically hunted us down. And we'd ignore him, ignore the emails, ignore the calls from the agent. This guy's just bugging us. And he did not give up. And he hunted us all down, told us what was out there. And we were like, what? And then going out to the convention, my first one, I think it was in 2004 or something, in chiller in New Jersey. And I freaked out. I arrived on a Saturday and didn't come back for Sunday because I was so freaked out. They didn't like nobody was there to kind of interpret for me. And I was like, holy shit, I'm out of here. But now I get it. But I had no idea.
Yeah. Well,
I know, we don't want to keep you too long, but I know obviously you've gone on to another career path. I believe a counselor, a therapist. I think I've read and stuff. But do you get offers here and there to come back and do some acting? Is that something that interests you? Or
I mean, I would, but you know what? Making films is very tedious, and so you have to be very motivated, dedicated, love the process. And I can honestly say I wasn't in love with the process. I have this, I don't know, it's almost like I get claustrophobia. Like I have to just sit here and wait and then act and then go sit again. And I just, so unless it's going to be worth my while, seriously, like if they were going to pay me a decent amount so like I could get health insurance again, it doesn't really motivate me that much. I don't mind doing some voiceover things here and there. But to leave my kind of like cozy life and my day job and the people that I work with who I really enjoy what I do, I feel very purposeful. And my family, it better be really good and a good script and good money.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could close with it's like being in a band, basically, like every now and then you'll do a convention, you'll play the hits, you're like, oh yeah, we're going to go play the shows and stuff, because to us, like we're all in our mid 40s, and these three movies in particular for us, like they might as well be our step parents because they raised us, and
so
they're
amazing to me.
I know, it's so cool. So Amy, like I don't know if Parker, did you have anything else?
The only other thing, Amy, was I read somewhere about Lethal Weapon 3 that you tried out for. Is that true, false?
Yes. I totally forgot about that. I definitely did. I went back like 3 or 4 times, did a scene with Mel Gibson. I think we even had to like have a little kiss or something like that. And I didn't get it. Renee Russo got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I couldn't quite I think in the business, I couldn't quite do the jump between ingenue, strong outdoor woman, and then sexy girl. Like, Renee could do that. She was a model and stuff. Like, I just couldn't quite do that jump or something. I just couldn't be that.
Me personally,
sex.
I would take Lethal Weapon 3 with Amy Steele any day. That's all I'm saying.
I think we all would.
Oh,
absolutely.
Wow. Thank you. That really makes me feel good. I'm going to take that with me today.
And special shout out to Bobby Heckman, who told me to mention his Bobby, right?
Bobby, I know Bobby Heckman. I love Bobby.
Yes, Bobby's the best. So he's got a Friday the 13th project coming out. So Amy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to our dumb show. We appreciate it a lot.
Thank you so much.
You guys, thank you so much. And I am really sorry I made you guys wait 45 minutes. That is ridiculous. Next time have the blue M&Ms and then I will show up on time.
Well, we almost called Renee Russo.
Yeah, okay, good.
All right, thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
You guys have a good show tonight. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Bye.